This national debate over border security sitting close to home for the family of slain California police officer Ronald Singh.
I feel like that we shouldn't be giving people second chance. Illegal immigrants, we shouldn't be giving a second chance to them. If he would have been deported, my brother would be alive right now. I would not be doing this interview.
That's Reggie Singh, his brother, an exclusive with our own Martha McCallum tonight. Let's bring in former Democratic National Committee Communications Director and a former Obama aide, Miranda, and the Vice President of the National Border Patrol Council, Art Del Cueto. Gentlemen, appreciate you both coming in.
Thanks, Ed. It's good to be here.
Louis, I want to start with you because I'd like you to answer directly the brother of that slain California police officer when he says, but for an illegal immigrant, my brother would be alive today.
You know, I feel tremendous compassion for Mr. Singh and his family and what they're going through. And what's absolutely true here is that it's a tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy. Anyone loses their life. An officer loses their life. And it's a tragedy when anyone commits a murder. And they should be held accountable. So I completely agree with him that someone who commits a crime, particularly a very serious and heinous crime, needs to be held accountable, needs to see prison time, needs to go through a judicial process. But Louis, on that point then, why are Democrats trying to push this narrative that the president has manufactured a crisis? Well, and the reason for that is the administration's own statistics. They've shown that over the last year, they actually had record low levels of people trying to cross the border. And so there's not an imminent emergency. What there is, Ed, is an actual problem with the fact that we have a broken immigration system that is constantly drawing people in for work and that needs that refreshment of work, but doesn't give them a way to actually do that.
Sure.
And that isn't able to process asylum requests quickly. One of the things that we definitely need is more resources to be able to handle asylum requests properly and quickly so that we can actually expedite this.
Let's bring in Art because he has a better sense probably than you and I about what's really happening at the border. How do you react to all of this? Art.
The last 3 months, the numbers have gone up. Can you hear me?
Yes.
The last 3 months, the numbers have gone up more than they've ever been before. So I understand people are saying, well, within the last year, but they're not taking into account the last 3 months. And the last 3 months, those numbers of illegal entries have gone on astronomically. Record numbers going back to 6, 7 years ago. That's the reality. And you hear all these people say, well, this is what we need, that is what we need. You hear Chuck and Nancy say, well, this is what the government needs. But let's face it, President Trump has reached out to the boots on the ground on numerous times.
Yep.
He's reached out to the National Border Patrol Council numerous times. I've yet to hear from Chuck and Nancy. They still haven't reached out. I haven't seen them out there on the border to see what's actually going down here.
Yeah.
In fact, it's been a very limited amount of these politicians that have actually taken the time to go out there. They'll go and speak to the members.
Yeah.
They'll go and speak to managers.
Sure.
And they'll see the dog and pony show. Now we have President Trump going out to McAllen. I hope that he is given the opportunity to talk to the boots on the ground out there, and that the trip is not hijacked how it's been before by some of these managers.
You mentioned Chuck and Nancy. I don't have sound from Nancy Pelosi, but Chuck Schumer and other Democrats have said a lot about the border and a barrier. Listen to this, Louis.
It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked.
We do not want to do anything to encourage more illegal immigration into this country.
The American people are fundamentally pro-legal immigration and anti-illegal immigration. We will only pass comprehensive reform when we recognize this fundamental concept.
So, Louis, why were Democrats, including your former boss, Barack Obama, saying over and over there was an illegal immigration crisis?
Well, Ed, it's exactly what I was saying, that there is definitely a broken immigration system that needs to be fixed, that needs to be addressed. This is something we tried to do in the Obama administration, not just with Democrats. We had a gang of aid bill in 2013 that passed through the Senate. The House wouldn't even bring it up for a vote. And it would have done a lot to address a lot of these issues, whether it's E-Verify, whether it's greater resources for the border.
Yep.
Democrats aren't against resources for the border. What we're against is wasting money on something that's not going to work. So to give you a perfect example.
Okay, quick quick example, and I get 30 seconds.
Absolutely. There was a project for a wall that was started in 2006 that by 2011 had spent $1 billion for just 50 miles of fence, and they discovered that Boeing and the other contractors had been using technology that couldn't talk to each other, and it just simply didn't work. So under Janet Napolitano as DHS Secretary, a lot of that was reorganized.
Well, one would assume that the technology has gotten a lot better since then, but Art, I want to give you the final word.
That's exactly right. So we need a better approach.
Okay, Art?
The reality, what's going on is that we have individuals. Listen, I care about myself and I care about the agents that I represent and them not getting a paycheck. That's what it comes down to. And we have individuals out there, politicians, that care more about hating the president, they care more about attacking the president than they do about American citizens. And this is all a farce where they say, oh, well, we care about the federal employee. No, they don't. If they cared about us and they cared about the American public, they would fund it, and they would make sure that what President Trump needs in border security would be funded correctly, and they don't care to do that.
Democrats are passing bills to fund it.
All right. Art, Louis, appreciate you both coming in tonight.
Don't care to do that.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, gentlemen.